Hello everyone, welcome back to the lecture series on analog electronics. This lecture series is a part of Let's Crack the Gate initiative by TechUp faculties. In the last few days, we have been through a lot. I mean the modeling of transistors. Today we'll do some more modeling and we'll see a new type of model in today's lecture. Okay. You might be familiar with the H parameter model of two-port networks. So today we are going to do the H parameter modeling of BJTs. You know that if this is a two-port network, here we have V1 current going in, which is I1. At this port, we have V2 and the current going in is I2. This is our two-port network. Now we know the equation for V1. V1 is equal to H11 I1 plus H12 V2 and I2 is equal to H21 I1 plus H22 V2. So this is the H parameter model of a two-port network. Two-port network, input voltage and output current represented in terms of H parameters. Now the question is, we already have a model, that is the RE model, then RPi model. Then why do we need a new parameter model, that is the H parameter model or hybrid equivalent parameter model, right? Now this RE, which is extensively used in the industries, it has a problem. The problem is that RE is given by VT divided by IC. Now this IC is the DC current, so it depends on the operating point. So the RE value will change with respect to the operating point. So we need a new model that may or may not change with respect to the operating point. So there we have H parameter model. In a BJT, these hybrid parameters or H parameters has a slightly different name. This H11, H12, H21 and H22 will be represented by a different notation. The rest of the things are same with the normal two-port network H parameter model. Now the H parameter model of a BJT is represented by these equations, or is defined by these equations. That is, now V1 is given by HI into I1 plus HR into V2. Instead of H11 and H2, H12, we have HI and HR. That's it. That's the only difference, the difference in notation. Then I2 is given by HF into I1 plus HO into V2. So these are the parameters. Now we know how to find out these parameters. That is, HI is given by V1 by I1 when V2 is equal to 0. And this is called the input resistance of the BJT when output node is connected to the common point. So that is the meaning of V2 equal to 0. Now we have HR. HR is equal to V1 divided by V2 when I1 equal to 0, and HR is the reverse voltage gain of the BJT. Okay, and the condition is I1 equal to 0. That means the input node is open. The other two are HF equal to I2 divided by I1 when V2 equal to 0. You can see it here. That is, it is the current gain of the BJT when the output node is connected to the common point or the output node is grounded. Now the last one is HO. HO is equal to I2 divided by V2 when I1 equal to 0. And I2 by V2 will be output conductance, because this is resistive, it is conductance, output conductance of the BJT when the input node is open. So these are the 4 H parameters of a BJT. Now with respect to which configuration we are using, this will be the notation for this will be changed. If we are using common emitter configuration, they will be called HIE, HRE, HFE and HOE. If we are using common base configuration, HIB, HRB, HFB and HOB. And if we are using common collector configuration, HIC, HRC, HFC and HOC. Now these are the parameters. Now we have 4 parameters. If we look at the equation, we can arrive at an equivalent circuit for this parameters. That is, at the input we have V1 equal to HI into I1 plus HR into V2. That means this must be HI into I1 must be a voltage drop so that it can be equated to V1, and HR must be a gain that we already know, it is the reverse voltage gain of the BJT. So this input side can be represented as this and a voltage controlled voltage source, and at the output side the current is given by HF into I1, means HF is a gain, so HF into I1 is a current controlled current source. So we have another current controlled current source here, and HO is an output conductance. So better way is to draw it as a parallel conductance. Now this is the representation. This is HI. This voltage controlled voltage sources HR into V2, and the direction will be like this. Now the current controlled current sources HF into I1, so it will be like this, and this is HO. Here we have our V1, here we have our I1, V2 and I2. Now any of the transistor configuration can be converted to this model. Let's see how it is done. So let's say we have common emitter model, common emitter configuration. It will be like this. Emitter is connected to the ground. Let's say here we have input, and at the collector we have the output. So this is base, this is emitter, and this is collector. Now the configuration, that is the equivalent circuit for this, will look like this. We have HI here, HR here, emitter is the common terminal now. Let's redraw this. Then HF into I1 here, and HO here. Right? This is base, this is collector, and this is emitter, which is grounded. Now we know that at the base current flows, which is IB. This quantity is now not just HI, it is called HIE. And this voltage is now HRE into V, and the output voltage is VCE. So this is HRE into VCE. And the current here is now HFE into the input current, which is IB, and this is HOE, the conductance. Now we know that IE flows here. Now we just need to see which terminal is common in this configuration, and these parameters will be named according to them. Whether E comes after I or R or F or O or B or C comes after, this is defined by which terminal is common. Now the same thing can be drawn for common base configuration. It will look like this. I'm always choosing NPN transistors. That doesn't mean this cannot be used for PNP transistors. This can also be used for PNP transistors. This is emitter, this is collector, and this is base, and base is common. Now the circuit will look like this only the notations will change. Let's say for a change we are going to use PNP transistor here. Okay, so the symbol will be like this. You'll know why I'm doing this. The current goes in. This is IE, and IB flows here, IC flows here. Now this is HIB. So here we have HIB into IE drop. This voltage is HRB into VCB, not VCE, because at the output we have VCB. In this case, in the first case, the input was here, which is VBE. Here the input is VEB, output is VCB, and now this current is HFB into IE, but we know that the actual direction of current is this one. So let's say this is also flowing in this direction. That means HFB has to be negative. That we'll see later. And this is HOV. Now these are the hybrid equivalent parameter models for BJTs in common emitter and common base configurations. Common collector configuration is also there, but we don't use that extensively in applications. So this is enough for now. Common base and common emitter. When the time comes, we'll discuss common collector also. Okay. Now let's go 2 steps back. That is, we were here. Now we can make some approximations here, and those approximations are HR in BJT is normally a small value, a very small value. So let's say approximations. HR is approximately equal to 0. Now if you look at HO, the value of HO is I2 by V2, And we know that if it is a common emitter configuration, I2 is IC and V2 is VCE. And if it is common base configuration, I2 is again IC and V2 is VCB. In both these cases, IC doesn't change much, right? So the output current remains almost a constant. That means HO must be a very large value, must be around infinity, right? So since HO is a large value, it can be approximated to infinity. So we know that when HO is approximated to infinity, this becomes an open circuit. So this HO part will be an open circuit, so we don't have to consider that. And this HR is almost 0, so HR into V2 is also, HR into V2 can also be neglected. Now the hybrid equivalent parameter model will look like this. There is our HI and there is our current source, controlled current source. This is HI and this is HF into II, where this is II. Let's call this V in or VI, and let's use small signal notations. So this is II, this is also II, and here we have IO, and here we have VO. Now this is suspiciously similar to something we already know, right? What circuit is it? It looks like the RE model, right? There is a resistance here and a current controlled current source here. So this definitely looks like RE model. So we can make a comparison between this H parameter model and RE model. Now for common emitter configuration, I have named them. This is common emitter configuration and this is common base configuration. So for common emitter configuration, the approximate model in H parameter is like this. This is IB. Here we have our emitter. This is HIE. This is HFE. Here we have VCE and IC. Right? Now this can also be drawn as this. Here we have not just RE, beta RE, or this is VBE. This is VBE. Here also we have VBE here, IB here, beta RE is the resistance here, and beta IB is the resistance here. And here we have IC and VC. Now you might be wondering where this beta came from, because I haven't yet told you why there is a beta here. The reason is we know that in common emitter configuration, when we look at the emitter, when we look at the base emitter junction from the emitter, there is a resistance at the emitter, and that resistance is RE, right? So this was the circuit that we had converted to this. This is RE and this is beta IB or alpha IE, both are the same thing. Here we have IB, this is, here we have IE, right? Now let's see what is the drop in this RE. So we know that this is base, so the drop in RE is, and this is emitter, so drop in RE is VBE, Now VB is equal to IE into RE. We also know that IC is approximately equal to IE because IB is a very small value. So IE can be written as beta into IB. In this case, VB becomes beta IB into RE. Now let's say we are transferring this RE resistance to base. So that resistance will look like this. If we transfer this resistance to base, most of the common emitter configuration problems will become easier for us. So now this resistance is transferred to base. So here we have base, here we have emitter, and here we have the current control, current source, which is beta IB. Right? Here IE flows and here IB flows. Now what is VBE? In this case, VBE is equal to, I am not writing anything here, IB into something. Now this VBE and this VBE must be the same. Otherwise, this model and this model are not same. Right? These two will become different. So in order for this VBE and this VBE to be same, this thing must be equal to beta RE. So here this value is beta RE. That is why in this case, which is common emitter case, where we haven't connected emitter to any resistor, this resistance value must be equal to beta RE, and this is emitter. So this will be the circuit in common emitter configuration. That means HIE must be equal to beta RE and HFP must be equal to beta, this is IB, sorry, both are beta times IB, so HFE must be equal to beta. So this is the relationship between RE and H parameter model, that is approximate H parameter model. HIE is equal to beta RE and HFE is equal to beta. Now we can go for the common base configuration. Here we have the H parameter model, the approximate one. This is HIB. Here we have VEB. Current is IE. Here the base is connected to ground. And this is HFB into IE. And here we have IC. And we know that IC flows in this direction if IE is coming into the circuit. Right. Now we can draw the RE model of common base configuration. Here we have a resistance. Here we have our current source. This is RE. Here we have VB, IE, the base, and alpha E. This is IC, and across this is VCB. Now if we compare these two, we can see that HIB is equal to RE and HFB is equal to minus alpha, because the directions are different. And we know that alpha is almost equal to 1, so HFB is almost equal to minus 1. So this is the relationship between H parameters and T parameters in common base configuration. Now let's see some typical values of H parameters. HI, you can see in common emitter configuration, it is a high value, it is around 1 kilo ohm. Then in common collector configurations also it is around 1 kilo ohm, that's also a high value, but in common base configuration the value is only 20 ohms. It's a very low value. and HI is the input impedance or input resistance of that particular BJT in that particular configuration. Then HR in all the cases is a very less value. In common emitter configuration, it is 2.5 into 10 to the power minus 4, and in common base it is 3 into 10 to the power minus 4, and in common collector it's around 1. And the value of HF in common emitter and common collector case, it's around beta. So beta value can be large, from 50 to 400. So in common emitter it's around 50, and in common collector it can be minus 50. And in common base configuration the value is alpha, so it is near to 1, so it is minus 0.98. HO is in microampere per volt. So HO, if we take 1 by HO, which will be a resistance, it will be a large value, that is 40 kilo ohm and 2 mega ohm. And this 1 by HO is actually the parallel resistor here. It was represented by HO, but this is actually the resistance 1 by HO. This will be represented by the resistance 1 by HO, and 1 by HO is the large quantity. Think here this should be written as 1 by HO. Okay, so these are some typical values. Now we can see how we can find out our most important 4 parameters for this H parameter model. And before finding that out, we'll first draw a circuit without any configuration, without defining any configuration. We'll draw a general circuit for this amplifier. Then we'll try to find out the parameters of that particular amplifier. So we'll be including our source, its resistance Rs, then our load, which will be given by RL or ZL. So first we'll draw the circuit. So we are starting the analysis using H parameters or H parameter model. The circuit is like this: Vs and Rs. At the input we have Hi, no other suffix. Here we have HR. Here we have HF, and here we have HO. Also here we have the load, which is represented by ZL. So this is Vs, Rs, Hi, HR into V out. This is HF into Vi, where Vi will be this one. Then this is HO, and this is ZL. Since this is parallel to ZL, we can represent it by 1 by HO. So either this is 1 by HO and this is ZL, or this is HO and this is YL. That depends on your comfort. Here we have plus or minus V out. So we can write it here, plus or minus V out. This is the same. Then we know that by two-port network, current enters the ports in both the input and output. So this is I out, and IL flows here. Now here this is II or IN, and now the circuit is complete. So here instead of I1, I2, V1 and V2, I have written II, IO, Vi and Vo. So the equation for this can be written as Vi is equal to Hi into II plus HR into Vo, and I out can be written as HF into I made a mistake. This is HF into II. Sorry for that. So I out is equal to HF into II plus HO into VO. Now this is the equation for this circuit. So normally we used to go for input impedance first, but in this case we'll go for the current gain. So we'll find current gain first. Current gain AI is given by output current divided by input current. And we know that the output current, according to a transistor, not as a two-port network, it flows out, right? So the current is IL and input current is II, and we know that IL is minus IO. So AI becomes minus IO divided by II. Now look at equation 2, that is IO equal to HF into II plus HO into VO. Take the negative of that and divide it by II, we will get AI. So AI is equal to minus HF minus HOVO divided by II. Now VO can be written as IL into ZL. We know that IL is equal to minus IO, so this becomes minus IO into ZL. Now substitute this in the equation for AI. AI becomes equal to minus HF minus HO into minus IO into ZL divided by II. Now minus IO divided by II is nothing but AI. So this is minus HF minus AI into HO into ZL. Take this to the left hand side. So this becomes AI plus AI into HO ZL equal to minus HF. Take AI outside. This becomes AI into 1 plus HO ZL, and we can find AI as minus HF divided by 1 plus HO ZL. So this will be the value of current gain. Now we can find out the input impedance. Which is ZI. ZI is equal to VI divided by II, where we already have an equation for VI, that is equation 1, HI into II plus HR into VO. So this becomes HI plus HR into VO divided by II. Okay. Now VO is minus IO into ZL. So this becomes HI plus HR into, this is small II, minus IO into ZL divided by II. And we know what is minus IO by II is, that is AI. So this is HI plus HR into AI into ZL. Now we can substitute the value of AI here. So ZI will be equal to HI plus HR ZL into minus HF divided by 1 plus HO ZL. Minus HF divided by 1 plus HO ZL. So ZI is equal to HI minus HF HR into ZL divided by 1 plus HO ZL. We can divide the numerator and denominator by ZL. So here we will get ZL by ZL, which is equal to 1. Here this will be HO, and this becomes 1 by ZL. Now 1 by ZL can be written as YL. So ZI will be equal to HI minus HF HR divided by YL plus HO. Now YL is the admittance of the load. ZI is given by this equation. Now the next quantity is, next parameter is voltage gain. AV is equal to V out divided by Vi. Now V out is minus I out into ZL. So this becomes minus I out into ZL divided by Vi. We also know that minus I out is equal to AI into II. So from that we can write minus I out as AI into II into ZL divided by Vi. So AV becomes AI into II into ZL divided by Vi. So if we divide both the numerator and denominator by II, AV becomes equal to AI into ZL divided by ZI. We have already found AI and ZI, not substituting it here because these are big equations. So AV can be found out as AI into ZL divided by ZI. That is the input impedance. So this is the voltage gain of H parameter model. Now the last thing is output impedance. So to find out output impedance, instead of directly finding out the impedance, it is better to find out the admittance of the system. So ZO is nothing but 1 by YO, where YO is the admittance. In order to find out ZO, the first thing we need to do is we need to set the input voltage to 0, and here we need to consider RS as well. So when we set Vs to 0, that means we are short circuiting it. So RS comes into picture. Then the second thing is we need to set ZL to infinity, that is we need to remove ZL. And the third case is we need to apply a voltage at the output terminal, that is we have already removed ZL and we need to apply a voltage here and then find out the current through here, and that voltage divided by current will give us ZO. So let's say we are driving this reduced circuit by V out. So drive the output by V out. These are the three things we need to do before we find out the output impedance. So when we drive the output by V out, let's say we obtain a current which is equal to IU. Then YO can be written as, that is the output admittance can be written as IO divided by VO, and the conditions are Vs is equal to 0 and RL or ZL is equal to infinity. Now look at equation 2. Here we have I out equal to HF into II plus HO into VO. If we divide this I out divided by VO, we will get the value of Y out. So divide equation 2 by VO, we will get Y out is equal to HF into II divided by VO plus HO. Now this is the value of YO. So we are short circuiting this, we will get HI into II plus HR into VO plus the drop in RS, which is II into RS, equal to 0. HI into II plus HR into VO plus RS into II. This is now equal to 0 because V is equal to 0. And from this we will get II divided by VO as minus HR divided by HI plus RS. So this is the value of II by VO that can be substituted here. So YO will be equal to, now this is HF into minus HR divided by HI plus RS plus HO. So YO is equal to HO minus HF into HR divided by HI plus RS. Take the reciprocal of YO, we'll get ZO. Now these are the parameters we obtained from H parameter model, and in the next lecture we'll do some problems as well as analysis of different circuits using this H parameter model. So until then, bye.